On November 9th, 1984, in San Francisco, California, Cesar Chavez, a farm worker, labor leader, and civil rights activist born on March 31st, 1927, in Yuma, Arizona, addressed a famous speech to the Commonwealth Club of California. Cesar Chavez used rhetorical devices such as logos, pathos, and ethos to convey inspiration and hope to his audience in order to make the public aware of the exploration of agricultural workers, called braceros. Braceros are Mexican laborers allowed into the U.S. for a limited time as seasonal agricultural workers. Cesar Chavez uses pathos to make the audience feel emotions towards the people's conditions when he says,
"Today, thousands of farm workers live under savage conditions, beneath trees, and amid garbage and human excrement near tomato fields in San Diego County. Tomato fields which use the most modern farm technology. Vicious rats gnaw at them as they sleep. They walk miles to buy food at inflated prices, and they carry in water from irrigation ditches. Child labor is still common in many farm areas."
In this passage, Chavez starts to make the audience feel heartbroken and sorrowful towards the agricultural workers. He says they live under trees, sleep with rats, and that child labor is among them. This makes the audience feel those emotions, which then turn into a rhetorical device known as pathos. Further on to his speech, Cesar Chavez starts convincing the audience that we are all in this together by using ethos. He makes us all believe that we are all one big group when he says,
"That segment of the population which makes the boycotts work are the Hispanics, the blacks, the other minorities, our friends in labor and the church. But it is also an entire generation of young Americans who matured politically and socially in the 60s and the 70s. Millions of people for whom boycotting grapes and other products became a socially accepted pattern of behavior."
After stating that part of his speech, he leaves the audience convinced that we are all what makes the boycotts work. We are all part of what makes that system work. He doesn't only convince the audience about his point of view, but also uses ethos to symbolize a unified society that can fight any government in order to access freedom. Later on, towards the end of his speech, he uses logos to make his speech more credible. He states,
"There are now 1.1 million Spanish surnamed registered voters in California. In 1975, there were 200 Hispanic elected officials at all levels of government."
By saying this, he gives his speech some background information and evidence, which then creates an appeal to logic and then uses this as a way of persuading his audience by reason. Further on, Cesar Chavez uses a specific, unique tone that makes the audience convey inspiration and hope. For instance, when he says,
"Yet, we are filled with hope and encouragement. We have looked into the future, and the future is ours. History and inevitability are on our side."
By saying this, he conveys the audience to believe him and gives us a sense of hope for a better future. He also closes his speech summarizing everything he believes in into one single phrase.
"Like the other immigrant groups, the day will come when we win the economic and political rewards which are in keeping with our numbers in society. The day will come when the politicians will do the right thing for our people out of political necessity and not out of charity or idealism."
This phrase leaves the audience with hope and suspense towards the future. The day may not be this year, that day may not be during this decade, but it will come one day. This has been my multimedia essay about the 1984 Cesar Chavez address to the Commonwealth Club of California by Gabriel Bautista.